All right, welcome back to like episode 13, I think, of the Refresh Cast. I think. Today we're talking about nature and the level of disconnection we have from nature and kind of the benefits of going back to nature. So, why should we get back in nature, dog?
Man, I think that one of the most important things that I teach is that to get healthy is to get back in alignment with being connected to nature. Like, nature tells us the truth about how to live our lives. Nature doesn't lie. All these studies, all these resources, they all try to tell you what you need so that they can sell you a product, but nature just tells you the truth. There's no alternative motive. And we forget that we are a part of nature, and not just trying to separate ourselves from it as much as possible.
I had that, I was working an office job for the last 2 years, bro, and there was a certain time in that office job where it was really like this March when the spring equinox hit, I was like, oh my God, I've been so disconnected from nature. This is not right. Like, my body is finally sent me, it had been begging and pleading, but I just couldn't numb it out anymore, and so it's really interesting to have that sort of revelation of I need to get back to God and nature as close as I can and realign my lifestyle with it. So let's talk grounding. Grounding's a simple way to get back in connection with nature. What are some of the electromagnetic benefits?
Yeah, so, we're inundated with EMFs, electromagnetic frequencies that are positively charged. So positively charged EMFs are radiation, essentially, and they have a negative impact on the body. The Earth gives off negatively charged particles, so when you stand on the Earth, it absorbs the radiation from your body. It absorbs the stress and the anxieties. So there's a really good documentary called Earthing, and they take these people with high blood pressure and put them directly on the Earth. And within 20 minutes, their blood pressure goes down and normalizes because it takes, basically the blood will be really thick. And as they stay on the Earth, it thins out, so it flows better. And then they would do the same thing with people with mental health issues, and they would see the change in their mental health by just standing on the ground. So it literally absorbs the radiation from us, and then it charges us up like a battery. And I think that that's what people forget, is that we are electric beings. And so we're electrically charged through the sun, through staying on the ground, all of that kind of stuff. So it's amazing. We need all these studies and scientific experiments to prove that standing on the Earth is good for you. It's so crazy.
It's as you're talking about that, I'm thinking about the toroidal field, or every human's torus field, and how the toroidal field of the Earth, and just how that electromagnetic pulsation really interacts on a microcosmic level. There's a lot going on that you don't realize is going on just by standing on the Earth.
For sure, bro. Think about how all the plants communicate to one another through their root systems. These trees have entire families. They are families out in the forest. They work together. They communicate with one another. They send nutrients to one another. And so we forget there's an entire conscious network of living things that we just think that we're separate from.
Do you think that if we were rooted into the Earth and connected to the Earth, we'd be able to communicate with each other on a more telepathic level? Because the plants that are a part of the same root system, we seem to be disconnected from our root system, our root chakra. So what do you think that would look like if we were all, a community of people that were connected through grounding and other various practices? What would that look like?
Well, I think that's an interesting concept, because I definitely think the more connected you are with nature and staying on the ground, the more you could communicate with plants and have that back and forth. But I would say that would make sense with people too. Just by, it has been proven that all the electromagnetic frequencies actually keep us in a lower vibration. So it makes it harder to do things like astral projection and meditation and all of these things because of the electromagnetic smog. So it makes sense that the more connected we are in nature, the easier it would be to reach those higher states of consciousness and be able to communicate in that way and more effectively. So yeah, that would make sense.
Dude, speaking of which, like the sun's so powerful. Like you hear about sun gazing and just the energy that the sun emits and how you can connect with that. Jesus Christ, he's been eating a stick. Of course, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, get on over there, dog. But so like so I really believe that at least in the cities, the sun is something that is blocked out, you know, through various practices that would get us banned on YouTube if we talked about it. Trying also to be more kind, less condescending. So we're working on that. But like, dude, talk about the power of connecting to the sun. What kind of benefits does getting out in the sun entail? What are just go about the sun.
Yeah. So the sun is the source of all of life upon this planet. So to think that we can do anything without connection to that sun is pretty crazy. So for one, the sun balances your circadian rhythm. So everything within this construct is guided by the sun. Our circadian rhythm follows the sun. The nature follows the sun. So it is the ultimate guiding force. So whenever you get up in the morning, if you go outside first thing, then that's going to trigger the production of serotonin, which is your feel-good neurotransmitter. So just by looking up at the sun, absorbing it onto your skin first thing in the morning is going to help with your mental health because you're going to be increasing more serotonin. All right, so the sun is also amazing because as it starts to go down, you stop producing insulin, you start producing melatonin. So that's what makes you tired. So the sun alone dictates when you go to sleep and when you wake up, or at least it should, because in our most natural state, that's what it would do. So when you are sitting in the sunlight and you're sunbathing, it increases your state of melanin, and melanin is essential for removing heavy metals from the body. So it helps great with detoxification. Obviously, the more you sweat, the more you clear the lymph from the body. But I think most importantly is the effects of it on your brain chemistry and your overall state of mental health. Again, proving just like earthing, the more you're connected with the earth, the better you're going to detox your body, the better you're going to feel mentally, and the more in line you're going to be with nature because you'll be living by that construct. Those that follow Rudolf Steiner, they would say that the sun is the consciousness of the Christ. It is the highest form of consciousness. It is the source that gives everything life. So the more interaction you can have with that state of consciousness, obviously the more benefits that's going to have. And then it makes it interesting. Why do they want to block out the sun with the things that they do in the sky with white lines, you know? And is it to lower our states of consciousness, or is it to just make us unhealthier in general? You know, obviously it has a lot to do with vitamin D production and immunity. So is it part of trying to make us weaker in general, physically, mentally, spiritually, all those types of things?
I can feel more, like I feel my power whenever I'm out in the sun, like working in the field, working in nature really brings back a certain tribal masculinity, and I can feel my testosterone increase. So what have been your benefits or experiences with sun gazing?
So the only time that I sun gaze consistently would be in the morning. So first thing in the morning, coming outside, doing my breath work, my meditation, and looking at the sun. And that's really more to like get me energized, get me up in the morning, increase that serotonin production essentially. I also really like the idea of sun gazing at night as it's going down to help with that melatonin production, but I don't have a lot of experience with that. Cool. Like, what about you?
Dude, I've always seen these weird, like I don't know if everyone has this. I'm sure they do, but like whenever you close your eyes and you can see like the swirly durlies, geometric.
Yeah.
Like my experience whenever I am in the sun with my eyes closed, I get these powerful visions and like these powerful geometric patterns and signatures, like almost like energetic impulses or signatures in my, it's almost like I can see like my neurons firing, but like it's so crazy, like 5 to 10 minutes of just, you know, eyes closed in the sun, you'll start to receive these powerful like electromagnetic waves. It's like receiving this like light codes almost. Essentially, I want to make sure the camera's not overheating. So far, so good. Okay. Cool. Yeah, bro, the sun's very powerful, and I completely understand why they capital T want us more addicted to like white light or the blue light and shit like that. Talk about the detriment. I mean, technology isn't inherently evil, but like the ratio of technology to nature that we have in our society right now is like so gnarly. Talk a little bit about the negative impact of blue light.
Yeah, so with blue light, first of all, it fries your eyes, so it's making eyesight worse. We've talked about before all the use of technology dulls the imagination and things like that. But the main thing is using these artificial lights at night. So as the sun goes down, everything would have more of this red hue, this red light. And so as it's going down or as it's coming up is where it gives off that red light, which is really beneficial for us. The blue light, when you're staring at it at night, it basically triggers the pineal gland just like light would, so you don't produce melatonin or DHEA before you go to sleep. So you're not actually preparing your body for a deep, restful sleep. And so a lot of the times when we're having these issues with being able to sleep well or stay asleep, it's because of a deficiency in melatonin because we're staring at blue light all day. So we're messing up our circadian rhythm and our natural flow, which results in all types of different health conditions and issues.
Damn, bro. Like, it made me think about, like, I mean, most people at work are on the computer for, 8 hours a day minimum. And they're on this computer whenever they're off work. So, like, what are some ways to mitigate that? Like, do you ever, whenever you're working from home and stuff, do you ever just take 5 to 10 minutes to step outside and connect with nature before you go back in? Or what is kind of a practical routine that people could apply?
Yeah, so for me personally, anytime I have a break in my day, I go outside, whether it's to work in my garden, to get some grounding, to get some sunlight, to go for a walk. I try to get as much time in nature as possible. I literally crave it. It's like it's a necessary for me. But I think that even getting something like blue light blockers, they're sunglasses with a red tint on it, so it actually dulls the damaging effects of the blue light. So blue light blockers seem to be really effective. They also you can change the settings on your screen to limit the amount of blue light on it. So it gives it a different appearance, but it's less damaging to your eyes. So there's some different things that you can do.
Let's talk about the impact of nature on kids. Like what can you do? Like how, kids raised on technology versus kids raised in nature. I've spoken on that before. What impact does putting your kid out in nature? Nature meaning like real nature.
Right. Out in the forest type situation. Well, I mean, whenever you take a kid outside to play in the forest, like they're the happiest being in the whole world, right? And I think that we have this belief system that they need to be kept clean all the time and they're not to get dirty. And it's actually the more dirty they get, the more that they get into the earth and onto the earth and get all that all over them, the healthier it is for their immune system. It's actually the building blocks of their immune system. Obviously, they can connect with their creativity. They can connect with the electromagnetic forces of nature, which charges them up, releases them from all the stress and the anxiety and the Wi-Fi's and the EMFs that are coming from our city-dwelling type of lifestyle. So I think that most of us are, including our children, are suffering from a nature deficiency. And so we are in a weakened state. We're anxious, we're depressed, we are lacking true creativity and imagination. And this is all because we've decided to separate ourselves from nature as much as possible rather than living by the confines of nature.
How do you think schools could facilitate more integration into nature?
Yeah, so I think we should burn down all the schools completely and stop having schools at all.
Right. Well, everyone's out of the school.
yeah, when everyone's out of the school. Yeah, they're gonna remove this one.
This is good. This is a good distinction. I agree.
So like I don't think a kid should touch learning in any type of way for like the first 7-8 years of life. I think the kid should just play and like look into whatever he's interested in, and like if he's interested in books and reading, then he'll start reading so that he can read these books. So I think doing more self-guided and just allowing the kids to be outside as much as possible. So learning how to garden, learning how to trim trees or herbs or whatever, but basically just whatever you're doing, allow your child to be a part of that process. And then in the long run, like I just believe the school should be not guided at all. It should be self-guided by the individual who's doing the learning. So whatever they're interested in, providing that for them, and then just having a place where they can constantly go outside and be connected with nature and play with the dogs and just do what kids do. But yeah, I think the school is just the worst thing for. In fact, I just read the study the other day, and it was talking about they were testing kids for genius, and within the first 5 years of their life, and 98% of kids tested as genius, and then they continued to test those same kids periodically through their lifespans, and the more education they had, the less genius they became. So by the end of it, there's only 2% were actually still genius. Damn. They had actually indoctrinated all the genius out of them by sending them to school.
They had. I've been through the process the last, really since I met my wife, but like very recently rewilding myself. It's kind of the term that I've called it, is like I have to get back to this primal state of being. Like I can have the professional aspect, but like the primal aspect of me has been so underdeveloped and unnurtured. I like, what kind of grounding practices do you use that reconnect? Like I love bioenergetics, where I'm just like shaking up and down.
Yeah.
Like basically a bioenergetic catharsis has been really powerful for me. What's one of your favorite grounding techniques?
So I love to go barefoot hiking. Like when Callan does it, she's got no pain. She's just like crushing it. It just hurts so bad for me, but I love it. It's like if I'm highly depressed, really struggling mentally, and I go for a barefoot hike at Turkey or something like that, it's all gone by the end of it. It does something so dramatic to my mental health. And so by far, that's one of my most favorite things to do. And of course, like laying out in the sun, just getting as much nature as I possibly can in, working in the garden barefoot, with no shirt on. Those things completely change my perspective on things and make me feel better in all the ways.
So what's for the listener here, what's some way that they can practically start to integrate that and just go outside 5 minutes, 10 minutes, force yourself to take a hike? You shouldn't even have to force yourself, but like your body is yearning for it, whether you know it or not. So
I think it's interesting actually, like how we have to work so hard just to do the basics of like going outside and standing on the earth. So I think that just giving yourself 20 minutes a day where you spend directly connected to the earth, barefoot, with no shirt on if you're male, if you can, women too. Like be naked in the sun, connected to the earth. Like it's just one of the best things you can do. Give yourself 20 minutes a day on top of doing some meditation and breath work, and in 30 days let me know that it doesn't have some type of positive impact on your health.
All right. Nature, dude.
Nature, bro.
Go get some.